Hi, I'm Yolanda Johnson-Bryant, and today I will be doing a video for one of my clients, but I think anyone who does not know how to create a folder on their desktop and transfer documents to make things easier to find, or people who want to save pictures from the internet or files or documents from the internet may find this useful. But I did do this specifically for a client, but feel free to follow along if this helps you. Great. First, we're going to get started by creating a folder. So my client's situation is that he wanted to be able to find files that he has. He is a musician, an artist, and a teacher, and he has so many files all over his computer via his Dropbox, his desktop, his documents, his OneDrive, and everything. And then he has pictures on Facebook that he wants to save for his website. So what we're going to do today is basically, let's start with one folder. So here on your desktop, and I will say up front, I would not recommend you save all your files to your desktop. And what I mean is right-clicking and saving. And what happens is your desktop will eventually become full, and then a lot of the files will be stuck. See how I'm going out the right-hand corner here? A lot of files will just start getting saved out over there, and you'll think you may have lost something, and it's there, you just can't see it because you have too much clutter on your desktop. So this is where having folders comes in handy. So I'm going to create a folder by right-clicking my mouse, going down to New, clicking, and then clicking on Folder. And I would recommend you naming your folder something that you can remember, something that will make it easier for you to find things. For example, going back to my client. So let's say he just wants to do Facebook photos in one folder, or he wants to do musical documents in another. For the sake of this particular tutorial, I'm going to name this one Test. So there we have an empty folder called Test, and we know it's empty because if you double click on it, there's nothing there. The folder is empty. So let's go ahead and close it out. Let's go ahead and try to transfer a couple documents in here. So on my desktop, as you guys can see here, I have a picture of my granddaughter. Now there are three ways that you can actually get this picture into this folder to help you organize your pictures. The first one is going to be copy. You're going to copy it to the folder. And what that does is it'll take a copy of this picture just as it implicates and puts a copy here but leaves the original here. So let's go ahead and start that. Right click and go down until you find copy. Go over here. Make sure you see that little check right there, and then you see the gray haze around the folder. That's how you know the folder has been selected. Go ahead and right click on the middle of that and go down to where you see paste. And as you can see, a picture of her went into that folder. See, there you go. Now there's another way that you can actually do this. There's two ways. One, you can just drag this into here, but if you do that, there will not be a copy left here. It'll go into there, into this folder, and it'll disappear, and you'll have a copy in the folder, but you will no longer have a copy on your desktop. The third way is to do a cut and paste. Now be careful when you cut and paste something, especially if you're not used to this, because if you cut it, once you cut it and put it in a location, it's no longer available on its original location. So I just cut that. You know it's been cut because unlike copy, when you copy something, it does not get that gray haze around it. This will be checked, but that gray haze will not be around it. But when you cut, the check will be there and that gray haze. So I just cut it. I'm going to come over to my folder and select it, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit paste. Now watch what happens. So this dialog box comes up. Replace the file in this destination. It gives you three options. Skip this file or compare info for both files. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to pick the third one. Compare info for both files. And I'll tell you why I'll do that. I am a graphic designer. I am a photographer. I am an entrepreneur. I write books. I write articles, so on and so on. And there are often times that some of my files may have the same name. Let's say I have a photo, and out of camera it may be 0024. And let's say 2 years from now I have another picture that comes out of my camera because my camera has been reset. It comes out 0024. It's going to show two files, but they're not the same files. they're different files. So what I'm going to want to do is hit compare info for both files. And how the first key is, we know they're the same files because the pictures are exactly alike. Now, where you want to get a little bit more technical is looking at the bytes here. They're both 900 bytes. They both were created on the same day at the same time. Now, in the case I mentioned earlier about the two pictures that had the same names but different ones, even if they were the same picture, we as photographers deal in RAW files, which are a lot larger than JPEG or PNG files. So I may have a copy of a RAW file and a copy of a JPEG file. They may be the same photo, but they have different information on them. Now, if you're a photographer, you know that RAW files are the files that we use to edit to make the great photos. We also know that using JPEG to try to manipulate the photo isn't as good as using the RAW file. So you may want to check here. If you see both photos and you're a photographer, or you want to keep a large size of one file, of the same file in a smaller size, ignore this part here of it's the same pictures and look at the bytes, look at the dates, look at the time, and that will help you. But in this case, I'm just going to keep both of them. So I'm going to click the files from desktop. Now be careful. Make sure you click files from desktop and files already in test to keep both, because if you don't, if you click this one's going to disappear. If you click this one's going to disappear. But in this case, I want to do them both. Now, just a quick note here. Down here it says skip one file with the same date and size. As a photographer, graphic artist, and author, and all that I do, I may want to transfer several files at once. And this may say skip 20 files with the same date and size. If you're new to this, I would still do the same thing. Files already, and files from desktop, and just hit continue. And as you're going to find out in a minute, both ended up in that folder there. See? And you can always later on go back and delete it if you don't need both of them. So let's close out this folder. Let's try something else. Let's say I want to find a document. It's in my documents, but I have so many documents. I want to be able to pinpoint it when a client calls me on my desktop. So the document is in my documents folder. So I'm going to click on, and this is on a Windows 10 computer. I'm sorry, I don't remember Windows 8, Windows 7. This is Windows 10. So at the bottom here, you should see a copy of a file folder. Just double click on it, and this little dialog, I did it twice. This little dialog box is going to come up, and this is going to have these little options here. So in this case, I want to go into documents, and I want to pull a document up. Okay, the one I'm looking for is resume test. So I'm going to select it. Don't double click it, just select it, because if you double click it, it will open, which wouldn't be bad either, because you can still open it and save it and to the folder, but that would be more steps than you actually need to take. So just click on it once, make sure it's checked and highlighted, and then you're going to right click, and then you're going to copy. And the reason why I use copy in this instance is this is for a client, and I want to make sure I keep the original file in its original location. This is just going into a folder that I want to be able to reach as soon as I can. A client calls me on a whim, I want to be able to click on that folder and find that file. So I'm going to click on this folder, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to hit paste, and it's going to paste into that folder. If you see there, it's right behind that picture, and I'll open it up here, and you'll see it right there. So that's there. So that's how you get a file. You go out and find the file, you right click, copy, you go over to the file where you want to, or the folder where you want to save it, which in this case was the desktop, and you just paste it. Let's say if I want to go onto the internet, and let's go to, let's see if I can get on my Facebook. And I'll say that because the client originally wants to be able to save pictures from his Facebook page, right? He wants to save this picture to his desktop. So how will he get this picture on his desktop? He's going to click on the picture so that the picture comes up. Then he's going to right click on the picture, and what he's going to do is he's going to choose Save Image As. So we're going to save image as, and this is the first thing that comes up. Normally the computer automatically defaults to the documents, but we don't want to save it in documents. we want to save it into that folder that I just saved on the desktop. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to desktop, and I'm going to find that folder. There it is, test. But all these numbers, it's still not going to make it too easy for me to find this picture. One thing is, when you save pictures from Facebook, they're always in number format. So let's say I want to save this as Butler family. I'm going to put Butler siblings. And this will make it easier, because if you have Windows 10, you can always go down to Cortana and put in Butler siblings. Let's say you forgot you put it on the desktop. Or let's say you even move that folder somewhere else on your computer off your desktop. You put in Butler siblings, and Cortana will find that for you. So save it to a name that you know, because the number, there's no way you're going to remember that. So I just saved it. Now let's go back. If you look here, it just came down here. It said it saved it. You can do a number of things. One, you can click on this arrow here, and you can open the file. You can show in folder. So let's say you saved it, but you forgot what folder you saved it in. You can go here. It says show in folder. As you can see there, it's in that test folder, and it's right there. Another way we can find out where we did it, we know we were trying to save it in that test folder. Let's click on it and see if it's there. And there it is. So it's very simple. Just create folders on your desktop and make sure you're very specific on what you want to do. So if you want to do Facebook photos, if you want to do resumes, whatever the thing that is that you want to do, save them. Now you can always move them back to your My Documents folder later, but I always tell my clients you can do that, but as a plan B, and I'm a plan B person, always save it on a flash drive, because I've had my bouts and troubles with computers. Luckily I'm a computer geek, so I'm not down for too long. But the average person, especially the baby boomers, are not tech savvy, if I may say it that way. So always have a plan B. Save a copy of everything on a flash drive. That way, if your computer goes down, you'll have a backup copy, and you won't be like I was in my early days of college, frantically trying to find some papers and things that reports that I had written that I lost because my computer just fried and I didn't have any sense to back them up on. Back then it was floppy disks. Yes, I'm telling my age, but at any rate, I hope this tutorial, the small tutorial, can help you, and I hope it helps my client or anyone else out there who is looking for a simple way to save information and organize information to help them find things better. If you have any questions, please comment in the description box below. If you would like to see more tutorials, and more are coming, but if you have a specific tutorial that you would like to see, please just either contact me via the description box below, or my information is on my profile, and I'll be more than happy to get that tutorial done for you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.